Clancy, Editorial Director of GreenBiz, and you are attending the last semifinals VERGE Accelerate session of this week before the finals tomorrow. First, we'd like to thank Acario Innovation for their sponsorship of this pitch session. And I just want to let you know a little bit of background. VERGE Accelerate has been a cornerstone of our program since the inception, and it's one of the primary ways in which we spotlight promising early stage entrepreneurs with solutions across the clean economy. Today's pitch session is focused on sustainable transportations. One of the many unique things about VERGE is that we bring together innovative startups with the potential partners who can help bring their solutions to scale. As you are watching these entrepreneurs and you see something you like, I encourage you to click on the People tab on the right side of your screen, search for their name, and send them a message to say hello. These founders are here to connect with all of you, so don't be shy. In just a moment, I'll introduce our two esteemed industry experts. We'll get to hear their perspectives after each pitch. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to have 5 pitches, 2.5 minutes each. After the pitch is over, you will all be invited, and this is at the end. You'll be invited to cast your votes to determine the winner. We'll advance to the main stage finals on Friday. So and they're going to be there with the winners of our 4 other market-specific pitch sessions. Immediately after this session, there will be a roundtable discussion where all of you are invited to Q&A with these founders, and you'll have a chance to join them on screen to ask questions. I'll give you some logistics of that in a moment at the end. So now I'm really excited to introduce our industry experts. We have 2 of them. I'll let them give a little bit about themselves, but first up, Patrick Sagisi, Director and Investment Partner with Acario Innovation. Patrick, say hello.
Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. Yes, it is officially afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here back at the Verge. It's been a great event so far, and happy to be on this panel. I'm head of corporate ventures at Acario Innovation. Acario is the corporate venture and open innovation arm of Tokyo Gas Corp in Tokyo, Japan. We invest in early stage startups in mobility, transport, electrification, decarbonization, and all the grid 2.0 sectors. Although we don't do any fossil fuels, I will say we're trying to, one of these organizations that's trying to help shift our parent to the cleaner, greener energy, through the cleaner and greener energy transition. I'll stop there, but look forward to the panel.
Thank you for joining us. And Danielle Harris is Director of Mobility Innovation at Elemental Accelerator. Danielle?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here. My name is Danielle. I'm the Director of Mobility Innovation at Elemental Accelerator. Elemental is a nonprofit clean tech accelerator based in Honolulu, Hawaii. And what we do is we find, fund, and support viable clean tech startups that are going to help us fight climate change and create more equitable communities. Previous to my life at Elemental, I was the innovation strategist for San Francisco's Transportation Agency and took a very collaborative approach in addressing disruption in San Francisco streets.
Super, thank you. Okay, are you ready to get started? Let's get started with our first pitch. Please welcome Andrew Krulewitz, the co-founder and CEO of Flux.
Hello, everybody. As it was just mentioned, my name's Andrew, co-founder of Flux, and I'm here to talk about EVs. The appeal of electric vehicles is undeniable, with a majority of Americans interested in driving one. So why is it that EVs account for less than 2% of all new auto sales? For most, an EV is just too expensive. Add in the additional cost and hassle of installing a home charger, and there's a 30% price premium to a conventional gas car. While EVs cost more upfront, it's well known that over time they save drivers money on gas and maintenance. That said, the average consumer doesn't think about what the total cost of ownership is. They just think about, what's my monthly payment going to be? Since the vehicle installment plan, otherwise known as a loan, was introduced about 100 years ago, there's been very little innovation in auto finance. You take a defined capital cost, a risk-adjusted interest rate, and in the case of a lease, a mileage cap, and the best guess on what the car is going to be worth in 36 months. There's no consideration of the fact that an EV will outlast a gas car by hundreds of thousands of miles, or of potential revenue that an EV could generate as a grid resource, or that the operational savings should act as a credit enhancement for lower income drivers. And that's why we're launching the Flux Mileage Purchase Agreement. Think of this as a PPA for electric vehicles. Plans start at $99 per month and 10 cents per mile. We include the option for a no money down home level 2 charger. We also include all maintenance and tax. Customers simply have to pay for the MPA and then electricity, insurance, and tires. By driving an EV with Flux, our customers start saving money on day one, and those savings scale over time, as does our revenue. So here's how we make money and our business works. First, we lease the car and the charger, targeting a market average return. Second, our goal is not to generate outsized profits on the backs of our customers like traditional auto lenders, but rather to leverage the cars as grid resources. Finally, EVs are all inherently connected cars, and the network effects available for monetization are much greater than with gas cars. We plan to launch in Northern California in Q1. We're currently looking for beta customers, and we're actively raising a seed round. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew, for that pitch. Okay, Danielle and Patrick, questions for Andrew. You got a couple minutes here. Danielle?
Sorry, there took me a second to unmute. I definitely love this approach. We're always trying to increase the number of EVs. I think a question that I have is the market that you're going after exactly, in terms of that Q1 goal.
Sure. So there's two key constituencies that we've seen this product resonate with. One is light duty fleets, particularly for small and medium-sized businesses who may only have 5, 10, or 20 vehicles. The complexities of installing chargers and then finding financing are difficult today. Where this has also really resonated, I will say pre-pandemic, we would call them supercommuters. A lot of those people are now at home. But more recently, particularly with the uptick of gig economy and rideshare and delivery services, we have a lot of interest from rideshare drivers. Rideshare drivers fundamentally understand that gas and maintenance impact their bottom line. And we've gotten a lot of interest from these individuals who live all around the Bay Area and Northern California. And for us, our mission is to deliver savings to our customers. And when you think about who is most taken advantage of by the traditional system of auto lending and used car dealerships, it is lower and moderate income drivers. So we're trying to find ways to serve all individuals who need to drive for work and access a car for employment, and we think there's a great market fit there.
Great, thank you. So Patrick, I'll give you a shot at our next person, but we're going to need to move on. So Amanda Hall, CEO of Summit Nanotech, you are up. Take the mic.
Thank you. Did you know that the process for making a lithium-ion battery for an electric vehicle emits 60% more greenhouse gases than the engine for a combustion engine vehicle? My name's Amanda Hall. I'm the CEO of Summit Nanotech. I'm a geophysicist, and I'm going to fix this at the root of the problem, which is lithium mining. Lithium miners face many problems with traditional extraction processes. They have low yield, high costs, and it takes 18 months to get the lithium from the ground to the market. We have an industrial scale solution made with nanotechnology, and our process will double yield, reduce costs, and deliver a high purity product in one day. All of this with the added benefit of lower land use area, no fresh water, less waste, and captured CO2. Sorry. Our patent pending nanotechnology-based process has 3 proprietary stages of development. We've done case studies with brines from 2 of the biggest lithium mining companies in the world, SQM and Albemarle. Our business model is to offer our technology as a service in modular skid loadable units, charging a lease fee and a processing fee. This is a high growth market. Lithium demand is expected to grow 500% in the next 7 years. Our forecast shows that with 186 of our units operating in the field, we'll have over 500 million in profit per year. Our target is lithium mining, but we see a need for our solution in geothermal operations and in oil and gas, which are even bigger markets. We have the technical team and resource extraction experience to do this, And we have a strong technical advisory board and strategic advisory board. We've already landed paid pilots for three paid pilots in Chile, which is the Saudi Arabia of lithium, and in the USA, where local supply chains are being built. Our potential has been well recognized through various awards, and Bloomberg NEF ranked our technology #1 compared to our competition. We've bootstrapped the company, raising $2.5 million in non-dilutive funding and closed a seed financing round. Our ask is that you participate in our upcoming Series A, an investment that will return 20x on exit. We are building the mine of the future to redefine the lithium space for a responsible transition to electromobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for the presentation. So, Patrick, impressions or questions?
Very interesting. I mean, this is certainly a critical key material as we electrify transport and a whole host of other things, including energy storage. So could you give us a quick overview of the technology and what commercial, like you said you had some pilots, but at what scale have you proven it? And then also, as a quick follow-up, how are you going to market? It seemed it's really dependent upon signing up these mining company partners to be able to get to scale quickly.
Absolutely. So the technology is proven at the bench, and we're just building our first pilot unit right now. But our pilot unit is a 40-foot sea container. So it's quite a large baby that's going to the field. We have pilot partners in 3 different countries, in Chile, in USA, and in Canada. And we'll be taking the pilot unit to all 3 of those locations, because the brine is very different from a resource extraction perspective in each of those locations. Once we prove the pilot works, we'll start working on customer contracts for our service model, which means that we would build and deploy commercial scale units and get them to the field in line with the customer's drilling program and production scale up strategy.
Okay, I think we're going to need to move on. So thank you again, Amanda, for that. And with no further ado, please welcome David Manosalvas-Kjono, co-founder and CEO at Aeromutable.
Thank you, everybody. My name is David Manosalvas-Kjono, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aeromutable. At Aeromutable, we're bringing aerospace technology into the trucking industry, and our initial product attaches to the back of a semi. And that's a first of its class fuel savings device, capable of providing 3 times the fuel savings of any of its competitors. And the reason is because we have an active system. The key to our technology is that we dynamically optimize the truck's performance based on real road conditions. But let's take it from the top. In the US, over 80% of commercial and consumer goods are moved by trucks, driving over 448 billion miles per year. But this industry is actually responsible for 30% of the total US fuel consumption, which amounts to just over 61 billion gallons of fuel every single year. When the modern semi-truck was introduced, there was very little environmental awareness, and gas was really cheap. But even today, when fuel constitutes one of the top expenses for trucking fleets, it's surprising to hear that over 65% of the energy goes towards overcoming aerodynamic drag. And one of the big culprits is actually the trailer, because it was optimized for packing efficiency, not for aerodynamic efficiency. And this trailer actually has a flat back and sharp corners, which cause the flows to separate, creates a turbulent wake with low pressure, which uses a lot of fuel. At Aeromutable, we're introducing a system that attaches to the back of a semi and is able to increase fuel efficiency by up to 16%. Our patent-pending technology leverages our deep understanding of ground vehicle aerodynamics with our ability to sense what's happening around the vehicle in order to change the trailer's aerodynamic profile. Our system uses air to build virtual surfaces that are able to streamline the vehicle. And by doing this, we're able to stabilize the wake, restrain it, increase its pressure, and be able to save a ton in fuel. We are Aeromutable, and we're helping the trucking industry become more carbon friendly while increasing their profitability. Thank you.
Thank you, David. So I will let Danielle and Patrick jump in. I don't know. I'm going to let you guys jump in. You choose. Oh, come on.
I'm happy to go first. This is very interesting. There have been other efforts in the past to get sort of aerodynamic solutions for increasing fuel efficiency on trucks, and they've all sort of run into a wall in their trials of being able to prove what they did and then partner with the right firms to go to market. So what are your plans for that? And again, it's great technology, but a lot of it is in how do you get to market and how do you get some traction?
Can
Yeah.
I just add really quickly, how are you
course.
different? Because I also have received a few companies that are dealing with the aerodynamic piece of
Yeah.
this.
So starting from how are we different? We are one of the first devices that actually are able to sense the aerodynamics around the vehicle. And since we create virtual surfaces using air, we are able to quickly take that input and modify the way how our aerodynamic device modifies the aerodynamic around the truck in order to optimize for real road conditions at that moment through our system of sensors, AI-powered controls, and air injection. And on the go-to-market front, we actually have been working towards a pilot program where we are partnering with real fleets that will be using our device in order to let them see what's the benefit that comes from that, and at the same time be able to work towards creating the right control systems and the right interaction that works for both the drivers as well as for the fleet itself, and that allows our company to have our device working the entire time the vehicle is in operation.
Super. Thank you. And this is going so quickly. There's a ton more questions that could be asked, but we're going to get to that in the roundtable. And first up, though, I would like to welcome our next entrepreneur, Damien Despinoy, the CEO of Velexian. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Damien Despinoy. I am the CEO of Volexion. And today, I wanted to talk to you about making better, cheaper, and longer-lasting battery materials for electric vehicles. The traditional approach of lithium-ion batteries, depicted on the left, leads to large surface areas of material exposed to highly oxidizing electrolytes, thereby accelerating degradation, driving costs up, and creating fire hazard conditions in the battery. Velexian's proprietary graphene coating technology creates a continuous protective and conductive layer around battery materials, suppressing degradation and potentially unsafe conditions in the battery. I like to compare Velexian to Red Bull for battery materials. We enable a comprehensive performance improvement in energy capacity, cycle life, and power performance, even in extreme temperature conditions. Our technology further enables the introduction of high-energy materials that require a new stabilizing solution. And doing so allows Velexian to drive 30% increase in energy density and 30% battery cost reduction, a 10-year leap forward for the EV battery industry. But Velexian is not a moonshot solution. Our technology is applicable right now since it is fully drop-in and is being validated across the industry by material and battery suppliers alike. Our manufacturing process is scalable at low cost and is environmentally friendly thanks to the use of biodegradable inputs and low energy needs. In addition, Velexian is a platform technology validated across lithium-ion chemistries and compatible with all major industry trends and future developments. Compared to other battery solutions, Velexian operates in an innovation white space with high market potential. Indeed, fewer than 5% of battery deals focus on cathode materials, although it is the single largest cost and performance driver of lithium-ion batteries. We have a world-class team in place to push forward our commercialization efforts. The founding team includes Professor Hersam, a MacArthur Fellow who received a 10 at 10 award for the Department of Energy, which singles out Velexian as one of the 10 most disruptive energy technologies of the past 10 years. And the rest of the team brings extensive expertise in scaling up and commercializing energy and material innovations using the McKinsey approach.
Great. Damien, thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it. And I'm going to let Danielle and Patrick have at you for a couple minutes here. Questions. Danielle, let's start with yours first.
I think your go-to-market. So kind of how are you planning to start your initial sales there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a partnership model where we scale up and qualify the technology in step with industrial partners. And we've started this journey. We start qualifying the technology on small samples and increase to pouch cell, commercial cells. And we've started this journey because that allows us to jointly increase and validate and de-risk our technology while focusing on customer-specific and industry-specific problems.
Patrick?
Sure. So very interesting. There's a number of companies, including Coreshell and others that you referenced, that are doing this sort of coded things. I guess my reaction is, it's great that you're doing this. Most battery companies take $60-70 million in 10 years to get to product and market. And this is battery materials companies require a lot of partnerships, and materials is hard. So kudos to you for doing this. But what's your fundraising path look like to get there? Can you do it in a more capital efficient way, or are we looking at something that's the long haul has been tradition? How do you break the cycle of tradition?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I fully agree that new materials can take a decade or two sometimes to get to market. But because Velexian is a stabilizing and finishing technology, when you single out this type of innovation, the path to market is actually much shorter, 2 to 4 years. And because we focus on this finishing technology, we leave 90% of the development of the base material to the industry partners, and we really focus on this final value add step. So that's how we avoid dilution for early investors as well.
So easy to drop in, easier to add to the existing processes.
Correct.
Yep. I'll have to unfortunately cut us off. We have one final entrepreneur to go. With no further ado, for our last pitch, please welcome Anurag Kamal, founder of ElectricFish.
100% EVs by 2035. The ambition is huge. Transportation is now the leading source of carbon emissions in the US and right here in California. But with a mere 2% market penetration of EVs, and during this orange heat wave, we saw the inability of electrical grids to power our new needs. This load will grow at 15 gigawatts per year, and the fact that renewable energy is only produced at certain times of the day, you'd need 30 new fossil fuel power plants every year. With this current approach, the grid will fail, and shutting off powers to our most vulnerable communities, putting lives and businesses at risk. Our solution is a network of batteries that have integrated ultra-fast EV chargers, supporting futuristic charging speeds at up to 100 miles in 5 minutes. The key differentiator is the bidirectional energy exchange with the grid, helping us tap into the market of providing backup power for businesses and communities. Our approach begins with data and AI, using data sets like EV adoption, power failure risk of the grid, and also communities that need most backup power. We generate a heat map to choose locations like gas stations for our quick deployments. In summary, we promote user convenience that is better than gasoline vehicles, cut emissions by storing renewable energy, and finally, reduce the cost of backup energy by minimizing real estate planning, ensuring a fast ROI. EV charging is our beachhead market, sized at massive $5 billion currently, and will ultimately power the energy resilience market, growing at $800 million every year in the US. The founding team has over 30 years of collectivistic experience from institutions on the top right and our members programs on the bottom. We care about delivering an equitable solution to solve climate change, and through our envisioned user experience and close collaboration with utilities, we could triple the predicted domestic EV adoption and cut 64% of lifecycle emissions from EVs. Come visit us in LA this winter to see our first deployment, and find me if you want to put an EV charger at your neighborhood store. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anurag. So one final chance for our industry experts to ask some questions before we get into the close. So Patrick, I'll start with you first this time.
Okay, great idea, Anurag. Who exactly is your customer here? So I ask because we have many people competing for this market. We have the utilities on the one hand, we have people like the EVgo's and Electrify America's of the world, individuals and other stuff. So are you offering a full stack solution? Are you going to be like the entire service provider, or are you offering a part of that in partnership with, say, an EVgo or Electrify or somebody like that?
It is an enterprise solution. We are B2B2C, so we will sell directly to the consumers as well. But important partners are gas stations. So we do get the real estate from them, make a plugin, just drop and go deployments, and then share the revenue with them for EV charging.
Danielle?
So can you talk more about the gas stations, like how you're going to kind of convert those? Because there's a little bit of permitting there.
Yeah, so we are working with the city of Los Angeles County to figure out how exactly the permitting works out, especially for safety. But the way the contracts are structured right now is the gas station owners just give us a parking spot. We just go drop it there. We figure out with the utilities, get the connection and get the charging going. So currently we're working with South California Edison and the city of San Gabriel for making our first deployment in LA. The goal is to make it super seamless for a gas station owner and a EV charging users to just start serving EVs and make this whole process very seamless.
Great, thank you. So this is such an inspiring group of pitches. I feel like we could spend another half an hour learning more about all of these companies and asking more questions. And that is exactly what's about to happen in the roundtable that begins in a few minutes at 12:30 Pacific time. So just a couple minutes after this. I hope that many of you will join us. The industry experts will continue the discussion, share more of their perspectives, and take questions from audience members who would like to come on the screen or ask questions in the chat. In a couple minutes, when you leave this pitch session, just click on the sessions section of Hopin and you'll find a variety of roundtables happening, including one called VERGE Accelerates Transport Startups. And that's where the conversation will continue. But first, it's time for you to vote. The winner of this session, as I mentioned before, will get to pitch a second time on Friday during the keynote program. Voting will be open for 30 minutes, and the winning startup will be announced at the end of the roundtable session. So you're welcome to wait and vote after more Q&A with our industry experts, or you can vote now. You have a little bit of time to think about it and ponder all these great pitches. The voting is happening within a Hopin poll. On the right side of your screen, look for the polls tab and you will see the poll asking you which startup you think should win. And if you want to see who wins, I said before, you got to join the roundtable. So it'll be announced at the end. I want to thank all of the startups for committing yourselves to these incredible solutions and for joining us to pitch today. As a reminder, you can search for all of the founders and send them a direct message right here in Hopin. Thank you also to Patrick and Danielle, who will continue the conversation in the roundtable. And thanks to all of you for attending this Accelerate pitch session. I'm Heather Clancy.